getting the first pick.
Oh, get three, Pyro, get three with the
Blade Kid putting on a clinic. Whole team's down. Oh!
Experience tranquility.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Overwatch Tranquility. We've seen such an amazing week of Overwatch so far, and tonight we end off the third week of the Season 7 playoffs with our Discord tier feature match between the number 4 seeded Mechanize and the number 6 seeded Mark III. I'm Bowsy here, and I'm joined by Marks, and there's a lot on the line tonight, and it ought to be a fun match to watch.
Yeah, absolutely, Bowsy. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction here. But, you know, a lot coming into this match, okay? We are in the losers bracket, as you had said. And right now we've got Mechanize coming up against Mark III. And no, I'm not going to be biased just because Mark is pretty much my name and they're Mark III. So technically they're like 3 times of me. But regardless, Mark III has been in the losers bracket a little bit before Mechanize. And right now it's all on the line because whichever team wins here is going to be going up against the Super Spud. SEAL Team Spud. Yeah, there we go. And whichever team wins that is going to get a chance at the championship bracket. So there's a lot on the line here. But once again, Paradise lost were the team that pushed Mechanize down here. And so it's going to be interesting to see how things go. But I'm excited for how tonight's match is going to go, Bowsy.
It was actually Paradise lost that knocked down Mark III down
Mark
here
III,
into the
sorry.
losers bracket. Mechanize were knocked down by Reminiscence, which was the second, I believe, third time they faced off in Season 7, which was ridiculous altogether to have that team face off 3 times. But regardless, both of these teams are in last desperate territory. One team's going home. The other, as you said, is facing off against the Super SEAL Team Spuds in a chance for the championship bracket in 2 weeks. It is going to be a very interesting match. Both of these teams, different seasons altogether. Mechanize only 4 wins in the regular season. Mark III had 5, but went winless in stage number 2. Hoping to make a comeback here after that winless stage number 2, and they did get their first win since stage number 1 last week against Ragnarok Fenrir. So there is some hope riding up Mark III, but Mechanize could pull off an upset.
Absolutely. And right now, I don't want to say that it's going to be one-sided or another side. I guess you could say it like that, because I do think that these teams are pretty close in entering into things here. And so I do think that we are going to be getting a really good matchup between these 2 teams, and it is possible that we might be going all the way to map number 5 tonight. So a lot on the line. Like we said, we've hyped this up quite a bit, but we are going to be starting out on Lijiang Tower for our control map. And well, Lijiang Tower, it's honestly, a lot of different compositions can kind of come to the map here. And so I'm curious to see what these teams are going to be bringing out. Are we going to see some more of that classic rush? We all know that Night Market kind of allows for a little bit more Symmetra play here, but it's curious to see what's going to happen just because there's so much variety that can kind of come into here, Bowsy.
Absolutely. And of course, Mechanize being the higher seed team in this tournament right now, or in this match, they got the map pick of Lijiang Tower. So they were the ones that instigated this pick. Obviously, there is a plan behind there, as the first map that's going to be here for Lijiang Tower is Lijiang Control Center. I mean, mostly a brawl map, but do you think we could be seeing things other than the Symmetra and Junkrat here?
You know what? I wouldn't say yes because it's just so powerful. You got the Symmetra, you can set up the car wash wherever you want it. There's so many small little hallways that a Junkrat can just spam his grenades into. I think you just get too much value out of the Symmetra and the Junkrat specifically on this point. So I would be surprised to see if they brought out a different DPS lineup. And right now, both of the teams, they are teasing us with exactly that.
One thing I find interesting right now, you see Tom Joe running on the Sigma right now. That could change as the gates are going to be opening here. Nope. Going to be sticking onto the Sigma here. So Ryan Diva on the side of Mechanize, and on the side of Mark III, you have a Ryan Sigma. So we'll see the advantage of that second shield is able to make use, and Pega Pants already able to get the first pick off here for Mechanize, getting the kill on the Potato Lord. And Mechanize already starting to push forward with that damage coming in here from that Junkrat and that Diva, just being able to melt the rest of Mark III and push all the way up to the choke. Mechanize are going to be able to win this first fight handily, and they're going to be able to get the first cap in this point.
Yeah, and I want to say it's just those early picks that kind of happen there. Taking out the Lucio is so instrumental for this composition, and you can just see how Mechanize were able to capitalize on that extra mobility. But right now, Mechanize, they're playing it right at this spawn hold almost, because they can just stall things out.
Ooh, but a big pick from Kebcake onto Pegapants. The Junkrat for the side of Mechanize is down right now, but Mechanize still have some sort of stability. Tarakton starts pushing forward with the rest of Mark III, and they're trying to push forward into the enemy team. However, the Potato Lord extends a little bit, gets hit by Yuno. Yuno tries to drop the shadow, but John Pong gets the final pick on him before he's able to land it. A big misstep there from the side of Mechanize, but they're still able to hold this point a little bit. Mark III pushing through White Room right now, not noticing that there's a Lucio behind them, but they're still trying to push forward. Tire comes out here from Pegapants. It's got to be big in any sort of way as it tries to go for the back line, and it's able to get Kebcake on the Baptiste. That is massive here for Mechanize. They're going to be able to clean up this fight easily with that main healer going down, and Mechanize once again hold the point.
You know, I guess that's the reason why the team's called Mark III and not Mac 3, because they were really taking their time rotating around. They had some of those early picks, and honestly, it should have been coming up all Mark III, but they just took too long. And now look at this, Mechanize are just using this to their advantage. They've already got 60% on here, and they're not looking like slowing down at all.
And that kill on a McRice means that Mark III is once again going to have to wait a little bit here, wait for the rest of the team to come back and be able to push in. But McRice now back in the fight. Mark III starting to approach with the choke, but Kebcake dies again first. That's massive here for the side of Mechanize. They've been able to kill these supports very early. John Punk gets the kill on the Uno, however, but dies at the hands of Lekka. And I think with that, Mark III just have to retreat here, or else they're going to be looking at a very scrappy fight for last fight territory.
And it's hard to say necessarily what exactly is causing the support line for Mark III to just drop first, but it's honestly those picks that are just so instrumental for Mechanize to just run over them. You know, without the Potato Lord or Kebcake, things are going to be so much harder, and they have a lot of ultimates online, but so does Mechanize. It's going to be a tough one.
The Flux comes out early here from Tonjo, and the point is barely touched here by John Pon and the Potato Lord. Here comes the tire from Pegapants, able to get two! McRice and Kebcake dead to the hands of Pegapants, and Mechanize trying to clean up the fight here. All that's left is the Potato Lord on that Lucio with the sound barrier, but won't last long to the hands of Pegapants, and just like that, Mechanize will win Lijiang Control Center and go 1-up.
Okay, so there is something to say about winning that first fight on these control maps. Obviously, we just saw a 100-0 Mechanize. They won their first team fight, but the problem was Mark III just didn't really have any sort of way to put their foot in the door. We saw signs of life from them, but they just got stamped out so quickly, and I'm not sure if that's just a result of Mechanize being a little bit more coordinated, a little bit more communicative with one another. But Mark III, I think they need to step it up, you know, not play so cautiously. You're not here to play, you're here to play to win, not trying to not lose. You know exactly what I mean. That was very complicated. But regardless, we're going to be going in now, and these teams are teasing us with a very different compositions. I'm interested to see how this Wrecking Ball and Zarya combination coming out for Mechanize is going to work out for them.
Mechanize coming out with more of a poke comp. Meanwhile, on the side of Mark III, they are going for that full 6-man dive. So we'll see if it's able to make any sort of advantage here, as the dive already comes in from Dawes on the ball here for Mechanize. But Mark III, they're not really phased by it, but they start to get slipped. Tarakton, however, able to get the kill on the Uno, and McRice is able to get the kill on the Noctua. That's huge here for the side of Mark III, as looks like they're going to be cleaning up the fight pretty easily and be able to take the first cap here on Lijiang Garden.
Yeah, and honestly, I think this just is a little bit of a testament to how Mark III are playing this right now. They're playing a little bit more closer together, whereas Mechanize was a little bit more spread out. Now we see, swapping over onto the Winston, going for more of a classic dive composition here. But I'm interested to see how much value they're going to be able to get. John Pond specifically is going to be able to deny a lot of that.
Yeah, but it's a full swap here for Mechanize, switching over to the 6-man dive themselves. But Johnpon in the backline with the Reaper, the 2 shotguns piercing through Noctua on that Moira. He wants more. He's going in fiber as fast as he can as the coalescence comes out here from Kebcake. Mechanize stuck in this small room, and all of Mark III is there waiting at the door. Ding dong, you're dead. Mechanize back to spawn, and Mark III continue the hold.
It's almost like we've just got a huge mirror just put in front of us right now, because Mark III are basically looking like how Mechanize was looking in our last point here. They just look so on top of things, and they've got so many ultimates coming into this next fight. I would be surprised if Mark III were stopped by Mechanize somehow.
It all comes down to the ult usage, as you see Mechrice does have the EMP, looking for the perfect opportunity here to be able to push in with the rest of Mark III, and the EMP comes out. It's a 5-man EMP coming out from Mechrice. Johnpon instigates the fight with Yuno, and the Potato Lord knocks off Dobbin on the Reaper. Mechanize having to reset again, and Mark III continue their hold, 67% on the point. They're looking pretty good, and they only had to use 1 ult in that fight.
Yeah, you can see Mechanize were kind of like, okay, let's go. Oh, hold on a second. This is a bad idea. Everybody back up. But it was just a little bit too late. And once again, Mark III, they still got so many ultimates in their pocket. You know, just trap Mechanize in that room again, and they should be able to just go wild. I'm looking at Johnpon right now with that Death Blossom. If that's well placed, not checked by Dawes, it could get a lot of damage in, and here comes a teleport.
Up in the back line, Daw is able to spot him out, however. The EMP comes out here from Pegapants. It's a 5-man EMP. It's actually pretty massive, as now you see Mechanize trying to push in. They have no ults to back it up, and the Potato Lord is able to get that beat off him and ready. Johnpon unleashes the Death Blossom, able to eliminate Pegapants, and the bomb now comes out from Dawes. The bubble broken. Yuno able to boop off Taractin with the Primal Rage, and Mechrice able to get the kill on him afterward. Mechanize trying to bring themselves back in this fight. Mark III have a little bit of stabilization with this coalescence from Kebcake, and Lekka gets hacked out of the sound barrier. That's massive coming out from Mechrice. Mechanize, unfortunately, not going to be able to win this point, and 99-0 here. Looks like it's all but Mark III's point here. Pegapants, the last person on the point, and he will not be able to touch. Mark III win the second point.
Okay, we just had 2 100s to 0s, and usually when we see those, it's the same team just getting 2 in a row. But Mark III have completely flipped the script here, and I think that just shows their comfortability on more of these dive compositions. It's possible that Mechanize prefer more of these rush styles, and so we can kind of see each of these teams going into their respective roles a little bit more. But it's all down to this. Point number 3, whoever wins this one is going to be winning out map number 1. Both teams teasing us with the rush. I'm curious to see how this is going to go. Johnpon, if they stay on the Pharah, a lot of opportunity to get a lot of value. But they're doing it at the cost of a Symmetra, which I don't know if I agree with, because that little bit of an extra boost in setting up the turrets is huge. But regardless, doors are open, they're getting into it.
Mechanize are running the teleporter strat. They're going to go straight onto the point using the sim, and they have the Doomfist there to do it. Mark III, they're running more of a hybrid composition. You got this Ryan and Diva for a brawl, but everything else spells spam, but that doesn't matter. Johnpon's still able to get the kill on the Dobbin first here on the Pharah, and Mark III start to try and make the engage. Pegapants able to punch Johnpon. That's very rare you see these days, as now you see Mark III trying to push in. The Shatter already built up for Taractin, only able to get 1 on the ground, but not able to get the kill. The Potato Lord able to get the res on the Johnpon, but Taractin loses his life for it. Mark III still trying to push into this, but Mechanize sitting very comfortably on this point, trying to make sure everything can go right for them, but Yuno dies to the hands of Mark III. It's still winnable here for Mark III, as they're trying to push in. Mechanize might lose this, however. Mechanize might end up losing this, as Mark III are just being able to stagger it out, and Mechrice on the Tracer is going ham right now. Mechanize, they had the point first, but they still weren't able to cap, and Mark III will get the first cap.
I think that's just an excellent play coming out from Mark III, and I do want to highlight Johnpon here, because on the Pharah, we're going to forget about the fact that maybe got punched out of the air, and it was a sad time for everybody, but Johnpon just turned it up and stalled things out so well, putting in consistent damage, allowing for Mechrice to swap over to that Tracer, and for things to go in, but here's the Nano.
A little early Nano, as Mechanize have not really pushed into the area, but nonetheless being able to push back Mechanize. Mechanize have come up with a solution here to this Pharah, and they've switched Dobbin over to the Cassidy, so they have that hit scan pick trying to push in here. And what's the approach from Mechanize here? Where do they take this?
I'm not too sure right now. Mechanize look like they want to go in, but here's the barrage.
The barrage comes out from Jompon, able to eliminate Dob, and then Noctua dies at the hands of McRice. Mechanize, they're still trying to push this in. Pegapain's is on the point. He's able to get Kebcake on the Ana, but that's all for naught. He's going to be losing his life for it, and all that's left is the Diva of Dawes, unfortunately getting staggered out here, and that's just a rough life. Listen, I was an off-tank. I know how it feels, buddy.
You always hate to see it, but right now, McRice going over to this Tracer is making such a huge difference. This might just be a comfort pick for McRice, but the work is being put in, and you can tell right now, Mechanize, they have to be so cautious of the DPS duo coming in here. Regardless, a lot of ultimates online as the self-destruct goes in.
Oh, but Dawes loses his life for that bomb. And the shatter comes out from Yuno. It's a soul shatter onto Terractin, but it gets the job done. Able to eliminate the main tank for Mark III. And Mark III still need to try and come up with answers here. John Pound, however, he wants to get the job done. He gets the kill onto Noctua, and the bomb comes out here from Tomjo to try and clean up the fight. Kebcake ends up getting res, and now both supports are up here for Mark III. Mechanizing to try and fight this back as quickly as possible, but the barrage from Jompon able to eliminate Pegapans, and he eliminates himself thanks to Dawes. The shatter comes out from Terractin and puts both tanks on the ground, and Mark III, they're still fighting this. The pulse bomb comes out from McRice. It's a miss, but Terractin ends up getting the nano here from Kebcake, and it's all over the place. But Mechanize, unfortunately, they do not have numbers in this fight. Mark III look like they're going to be able to win this fight handily, as all that's left is Dawes and Lekka here on the point. The Pharaoh Jompon coming back in, and Terractin swings his hammer, eliminates two, and just like that, you will be seeing Mechanize sadly lose this point. All that's left is this ball of Yuno, but it's going to be all for naught here, as Mechanize looking pretty rough here. Mark III will be able to hopefully win this map as long as nothing crazy happens, and thankfully, nothing crazy will happen. Mark III takes the first map.
Never say it's over until it's over, but you know, we talked about how these teams are going to be pretty evenly matched, and even though that was 100-0, I'm pretty sure that last team fight stretched out for almost the entirety of that percentage. We're going to see Pegapants right here get the play of the game. Once again, Pegapants, I think, has just been doing a great job on the DPS for Mechanize, but unfortunately, Mark III, well, they're just winning out these battles, and I kind of want to say that this is largely due to their DPS. Obviously, their tanks are doing a good job of stalling things out, but right now, it's just so clear that Jompon and McRice are more or less just winning the fights before they even begin. So many picks coming in before the teams can fully engage, before we see those Reinhardt hammers / swords swing into each other. We see these picks already coming through from Mark III. So excellent job from Mark III as they win out the first map here.
Absolutely, Mark III doing an amazing job, and they really showed that sort of ability when they won the first control map up against Lotus in Stage 2, Week 3. They were able to win that first control map thanks to a lot of good DPS picks and really good synergy with those tank duo. That was at a time when they just signed Terractin to this team, so obviously they're learning, they're adapting with Terractin, and once again, McRice and Jompon showing how destructive of a DPS duo they can be. But now Mechanize, they lost the first map, which means they get the second map choice, and they are bringing us on our 2CP map to Temple of Anubis. We saw Jompon's Farah, so this can probably be a very questionable play, but what is your take on Mechanize choosing Anubis?
Oh boy, I mean, I have to imagine the reason they're picking Anubis is because they have some sort of strategy. They must have been practicing this map in order to make sure that they are confident in this, because we saw that Mark III are able to play more or less a lot of the similar compositions that Mechanize showed us on that slap map, and honestly looked a little bit better for it. So I'm curious to see what they are going to be bringing out here. I expect maybe some Junkrat on the defense per se, but maybe Mechanize just roll out with that Reinhardt again. It seemed like it was doing a really good job on that first point of map number 1. And so if they can continue to get a lot of value out of Dawes on Reinhardt, then I think that's the play here. But of course, you know, we never know until we see us get into this map, and we are loading into the map now. And we are going to be starting out with, it looks like, Mechanize on defense.
Mechanize will be on the defense. Mark III will be on the attack. And you did say that Junkrat. I would be inclined to agree with you, because Pegapants on that Junkrat was a huge factor in
absolutely,
in Mechanize winning that first point of Lijiang on Control Center, but not going to be running that here. It looks like they're going to be running the Echo Ash, so interesting composition to say the least, but it works when it gets the job done.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this first point. There is a lot of like points of high ground awareness. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. There are plenty of areas to kind of have Dobbin set up wherever Dobbin wants to and still get away with just plunking in damage. Meanwhile, their tank line seems to favor the dive, so I think that they're expecting that Mark III might be going in with a little bit of this rush composition. You know, you can get Yuno in there, get Yuno out, and then just have Dobbin and Pegapants clean up the rest in the back line. But the gates are open now, and let's see how these teams want to engage here.
Interesting to see McRice here on the Symmetra, but they obviously Mark III have a plan here, and they're going to be going to the top right. Already haven't used that Immortality field early, though, but hey, it's not going to matter. They're already on the point, but it's a massive anti-nade coming out from Noctua, and the cleanup is there. Absolute destruction coming out from the side of Mechanize, and well, that was a quick fight, only 30 seconds. I can probably go get a sandwich before the next fight starts, as Tom Joe's getting staggered here on the Diva.
Yeah, of course, when you have a stagger, you got plenty of time to even go to Subway if you'd really like to and get one of those foot-long subs there, because it does take a little bit longer. But once again, like you said, Noctua, with that anti-nade, just set up the team for success. You can see as soon as they went through the teleporter, everybody was purpled. You know, they had a little bit too much Kool-Aid, and then they just got melted down as a result of it. We see a couple of swaps coming over. Tom Joe on the Diva, probably to eat that to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Then TP coming out again, and that's a massive dynamite coming out from Dobbin this time, and
Okay.
Pegapant's able to get the cleanup and gets the copy onto the Reinhardt. The shatter is massive from Pegapants! Absolutely massive from the duplicate Reinhardt! Oh my goodness, put that on your bingo card. A 5-man shatter with a duplicate coming out from Pegapants, and Mechanize, they once again clean out the fight again extremely quickly.
Absolutely, and finally, you know, they take out Tom Joe there, but Pegapants, you sure you should be playing Reinhardt, buddy? Those were excellent reflexes, read Teraction like a book, just threw the hammer down. I'm pretty sure I felt it over here, and then just rushed in there and cleaned it up. Now, so many ultimates on line for Mechanize. I don't think they're going to have another problem with this next fight.
Yeah, and we already see Mark III switching off of that Symmetra. They've switched over to a Pharah Tracer, and they also have this Mercy Ana now instead of that Rush comp. So they said, okay, we're done with the Symmetra TP. It's worked a few times, not going to work again. Dawes throws in the Diva Bomb and is able to eliminate John Pond early. That is big here for Mechanizers. John Pond's going to have to get res here. It looks like the Potato Lord is looking for it, and he will be able to get it off, thankfully. And now the res coming back up. Mark III are back into full 6. Dawn trying to get a little bit of background pressure. Oh, but he loses in mech for it. That is massive. The dive comes in here from Yuno and McRice. Guess what? He's in the back line. He's already got the kill on the Leica. John Pond follows it up with the kill on the Dawn. It is winnable here for Mark III. They're able to get 3 picks. Potato Lord, however, dies at the hands of Pegapants, and Kevcake's dead to Yuno. It's even now. It's 3v3 right now on the point. Tom Joe able to even it out with that pick onto Pegapants. Able to try and bring it back. But you see, Dobbin trying to get us the point here, but McRice meeting him right there in the face, and he dies before he's able to get the bob out. It's still winnable here for the side of Mechanize, but it's going to take a lot of stall here as Mark III, they're still trying to push in. The shatter from Teractin is a whip, but McRice gets the pulse bomb kill onto Yuna. Mechanize trying to hold this back, and the res is going to be able to come out here onto Yuna unless it gets canceled. A big boot coming out from John Pond to cancel that res from Lekka, but still winnable here for Mechanize. Mark III using that Diva Bomb. Not able to bring it out, but Pegapants gets 2 with the Echo. The Bob comes out here from Dobbin, but guess what? He misses the point. Overshoots it a little bit, but Mark III, they're still being able to clean up this fight, and now Mechanize, they might have to retreat here. Mark III looking pretty good so far. Pegapants once again duplicated, this time not on the Reinhardt, but rather on the Diva, trying to get that immediate kill. But guess what? Everyone around him is dead. The charge comes out here from Teractin onto Pegapants. He gets demeched, and he won't get staggered here on this baby Diva, unfortunately, but he will get staggered on the Echo as Mark III take the first point.
Oh my goodness. Mechanize are making Mark III work for every single tick, every single percentage, honestly. An amazing stall coming in from Mechanize. They almost won that one back, but now a lot of ultimates coming in here for Teraction as he's got the Nano too.
Already a big anti here onto Teractin from Noctua, and Dobbin gets the kill onto John Pond. The Barrage no longer in the fight unless they res him, and looks like they're trying to. The Potato Lord goes for that aggressive res, but Dawes meets him right there and eliminates the Mercy, and now the res offline, the Mercy dead, and Mark III sadly have to retreat. A very good engage there from Mechanize when they saw that the Pharah was down.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that this is really Dobbin on that Ashe pick. there's being so much pressure applied onto Johnpon that Johnpon has to be so careful about where he flies around and gets set up. You know, he's got the barrage, but there's always such a hesitancy to use it because you turn yourself into an immobile target. And also, too, Dawes can absorb a lot of those rockets there. Now, still, almost 6 ultimates online for Mark III, so they are going to have a lot in their toolkit. But I'm curious to see what they are going to engage with. And hey, Johnpon gets taken out by an air duel, so they might not want to engage just quite yet.
Yeah, they're going to engage in about another minute. Actually, no, the Potato Lord gets the res off of the jump on this time, but he dies after he uses the Valkyrie to the hands of Yuno. That is massive coming out from Mechanize, but it's still back and forth. Johnpon able to get 2 with the barrage, and the bomb comes out here from Tomjo. Not able to eliminate anything, but it might have just been a mech reset. But Taraktin having a very rough time, having to battle with both tanks in the same room. Unfortunately, dies at the hands of Dawn, and like again, that res, that's once again a lost fight here for Mark III, and Mechanize continue to hold.
You know, that's actually brilliant what we just saw there from Mechanize. They decided to take the fight all the way up there because they knew that they would have plenty of time to re-engage just based off the spawns alone. And honestly, they won that one out. So Mark III, that was a very heavy investment from their side. They lost a lot of ultimates going into that fight. We still don't see any changes, so they're confident in the strategy, but right now, it's not working out just quite yet, and Pegapants has another duplicate back online for this fight. I'm watching him to see what exactly is going to be happening with this one.
Mark III looks to be going in the dark room right now, but Dawes ends up following them in there. Might lose his mech for this, and he will. The Shatter comes out for Taraktin. It gets 2 on the ground, but he has to shield for the bomb and ends up losing life to Pegapants. It's back and forth on both sides, however. Pegapants has duplicated the Pharaoh, was nanoed by Noxua, and gets 2. 1 with the barrage and 1 on the Potato Lord normally, and Mechanize once again have won this fight. They've been doing a stellar job on this defense. Mark III need answers, and they need them within the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, you know what? That was just a Pegapants doing Pegapants thing. Is there a hero this guy can't play right now? Because that was excellent what we just saw there. Excellent read. Obviously in the duplicate form, you get that barrage just up so quickly. And it was just devastating. It devastated the Mark III backline, and you could see that they were kind of scratching their heads. Now, a bunch of changes coming on, but they've already lost their Cassidy. So it's going to be really hard for them to even be able to make it on to touch the point to activate overtime. But they got to do something because the clock is ticking down.
Bryce already switches off of the Cassidy back onto the Tracer as it's last-minute desperation mode. 3 seconds left on the clock. Tomjo will be the first to touch, but he gets anti-nated immediately. The Dynamite from Dobbin is going to get blocked here, and the barrage from Johnpon is in the backline, able to eliminate Dobbin, and McRice gets the kill onto Pegapants, but Lekka gets the res. Pegapants will not fall and will not be silenced in this match. The bomb comes out from Tomjo, unable to get anything, and Pegapants once again bringing it back with the rest of Mechanize. Everyone falling to the hands of the robots, and Mechanize, they're going to be able to get the full hold here as long as they're able to kill out Tomjo quickly and effectively, and guess what? They are able to. Mechanize get a full hold on point B.
Yeah, not even a single tick. Pegapants might want to change his name to Carry Pants after that one, but at the same time, this is the reason why humans should fear the machines, because that echo was just so good. There's no other way to say it besides the fact that Pegapants was getting duplicates left and right and inflicting so much damage, just allowing Yuno and Dawes to just move in there and sweep up the rest of them. But consistently, Pegapants was lighting up the kill feed there, and Mark III just did not have an answer for stopping Pegapants at all. Pegapants was honestly running wild just in the sky. And meanwhile, Johnpon, you know, playing that Pharah, was just having such a hard time because Dobbin and both Pegapants too. Pegapants was engaging in aerial combat and winning that out, which you don't see too often. But regardless, now these teams are going to be switching it around. There's a very clear win condition set up for Mechanize. They want to even out this series 1-1, make sure that this continues to go on, not get swept today. And, well, we're going to be seeing a little bit more of a brawly composition coming out from Mark III on their defense. Looks like they are going to be bringing out McRice on the Ashe, maybe punish or try to check Pegapants just a little bit more, but this time it's going to be Johnpon on the Tracer. I'm curious to see how Johnpon will do in this type of role, because traditionally, up until this point, we've seen a little bit more long-range projectile-y type stuff. So, regardless, we're going to be loading in now. Let's see how this goes. This is for all the marbles. Well, not really, but to even out the series, you know?
Yeah. we would definitely see as Dobbin is going to be running the Ash. They're going to be running the exact same comp here from the side of Mechanize. Pretty much the exact same. They saw how much success it brought them last time, and they're going to be running it back again here. So Mechanize are trying to look for an engage here. Yuno able to jump up to this little plateau to meet up with Tarakton, but Tarakton has a giant hammer, and Yuno just has a little tiny taser. So Yuno going to be backing up from there, and the nade comes out here from KK trying to keep the rest of the team alive. And Mark III, they're trying to really take a split approach here, and that's kind of the goal here with this dive comp. Try to split up this brawl composition and try to find a way to dive onto them. They know that the supports are on the high ground, however, but Pegapants makes the first jump, gets bashed and antied him, 1 health left for that Echo, able to stay alive thanks to the support of Mechanize. And Mark III, they're still trying to hold this, but now you see that Mechanize are looking at their backline very clearly, and the dive comes in here from Yuno early, trying to go onto that Brigitte and Ana, but the rest of the team, a huge peel coming out here from Mark III, and they're able to eliminate Yuno in his tracks. It's still winnable here for Mark III. They do have that first pick coming online, and Pegapan getting pressured out here from Tom Joe on that Diva, and looks like Mechanize, they're going to have to retreat here with Pegapants dying. That's going to be a retreat from Mechanize, most likely. It's going to be a very sloppy retreat, but a retreat nonetheless.
So Dobbin kind of saw what, sorry, not Dobbin. McRice saw what Dobbin did on the defense and was like, that's actually a really great idea right now, because we're seeing very similar things coming out from the Ashe on this defense, and they're just getting so much value in some of these far away picks. Now, they're trying to engage on the high ground here. Let's see how this goes.
Oh, the Potato Lord tried to push up with Tom Joe and ends up getting anti-naded and then burnt by Pegapants' laser. Dawes also able to get the kill on McRice. Now, Mark III, they're 2 down in this fight. Tarakton, however, is able to get the nano boost, and John Punk gets the kill onto Pegapants, but slept and punched by a monkey. That's got to be painful. The Shatter comes out for Tarakton, however, gets 2 on the ground, but he gets anti-naded and burnt once again. Remember I was talking about that taser? Yeah, it was the one that killed him. Now the bomb coming out here from Tom Joe here, trying to delete that bubble coming out from Yuno, but unable to do it. And unfortunately, Mark III, they're not going to be able to win this. The Bob, that's the second time a Bob has been overshot onto the point. Come on, Ashes. I know you're not the same person, but still, Mark III, unfortunately, they're going to be giving up this first point, and right now it's going to be in drawable territory for them, unless John Pon has a miracle pulse bomb here. But yep, him dying means that there is unfortunately going to be no miracle pulse bomb, and Mark III are going to have to hold for a draw.
Yeah, you know what? I think the whole thing about McRice looking at what Dobbin did and wanted to copy that, well, that just proved my point when we saw the Bob just run past the point. Now, very aggressive coming in here, but Pegapants has a duplicate, and that's scary if I am Mark III. Just 1 tick, and then they win it, and with a duplicate online, this one's going to be tough for Mark III to hold.
Yep, the push coming in here from Mechanize, slowly but surely. McRice actually switched over to the Cassidy, so they have that. And the Bob, that's the third. Okay, no, that Bob actually did touch the point, thankfully. But Mechanize now starting to push in with that Bob, and already a big kill from Pegapants onto Tarakton. The Potato Lord falls quickly after him. Mechanize, they're trying to push forward now in this fight. They just need a few more picks to go their way and to be able to get that 1 tick, and they're going to be able to win Anubis, and it's looking really good for them right now. Pegapants copies the Diva, and no one is there to touch from Mark III. Mechanize will win the second map and go even here at the half.
Oh boy, honestly, great stuff coming out of Mechanize. You can just see how comfortable they are, and it's all thanks to this guy, Pegapants, on this Echo roll. It's just so impactful. Oh yeah, this is going to be the great big shatter that we saw there, but consistently getting all of, like, duplicates left and right, just burning people down with the focusing beam. That is exactly what you want to see out of an Echo player, and boy, Pegapants delivered here. I do think that Mark III maybe needed to change things up a little bit, because I don't think that Taraction was getting enough value out of that main tank being on Reinhardt. You know, how Mechanize was working was they were just flying all over the place and taking kind of individual fights left and right. That's how that dive style works. And Taraction just was looking around like, well, do I go over there? Do I go over there? Do I go over there? And so as a result, we just saw Mechanize roll them over and even out the series here.
Absolutely. Mechanize making a huge impact here, getting that second map win over Mark III, trying to bring an upset victory despite being the higher seed. They're trying to bring an upset victory and knock Mark III out of the tournament. We're going to see if they're able to do that. We'll be back with map 3 and the rest of this series after a halftime break. to Overwatch Tranquility, as we have been seeing an amazing match thus far, currently tied up at the half between Mechanize and Mark III. This has been a close match, Marks, and it can go to anyone's directions. We head to map 3, which in traditional Overwatch fashion is King's Row.
I was about to say I love Kings Row, but I think a collective "we love Kings Row" is probably appropriate here because, well, everybody just loves Kings Row. You know, this is where we see, it is our hybrid map, of course, but this is where you see, honestly, just a lot of rush compositions. There's so much environmental factors or how things are laid out that it just allows this brawl composition to just run wild. And so I'm expecting that both of these teams will be pulling out some Reinhardts. I can expect a lot of not variety, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what the DPS lineups bring here because we saw, honestly, Dobbin was doing a very dominant job on that hit scan. And especially on point number 1, there are opportunities to hang out on that high ground, just plink damage in there. So it's definitely possible that we might be seeing a little bit of a different strategy there. But of course, we don't know what's going to happen until we load into the map. And I am just going to mention here, Mark III did have a swap coming in. So Bunny is going to be coming in for Mick Rice. So I wonder if this is just because Bunny might be a little bit more accustomed to some of that long range hit scan, because it's not uncommon to see a double shield hold, especially on that first point. But that second point is traditionally, second and third, I should say, that's traditionally where we see things go towards more of a brawl or a dive, depending on how these teams go. Regardless, we're going to be starting out with Mechanize on the defense. So, you know, I'm curious to see what they bring in. They showed us an absolutely dominant performance on that second map here. Very comfortable running dives into a rush. So I'd be curious to see if they bust that out here, but it would be a little bit unconventional here on King's Row, Bowsy.
It definitely will be unconventional. Of course, Kings Row, very closed in, very brawl heavy. It's always been brawl heavy, and fortunately, we're not going to be seeing them conform to differences. We're actually going to be seeing them conform to the normality here on Kings Row, running the Ryan Diva with the Cassidy May and the Lucio Baptiste. So, pretty standard stuff here coming out from Mechanize. Mark III looking like to have the same composition in the spawn room. So, needless to say, we're not going to see any surprises. If we do see any surprises, it will be a welcome surprise indeed. Because sometimes, while Kings Row is probably the best map, it's also probably the most boring for casters because we're casting the exact same comps every time. No offense.
All I'm saying is, I don't know about you, Bowsy, but I am ready to be surprised. So teams, Mechanize, Mark III surprise us. I am excited, though, because Pekka Pants, the Echo Extraordinaire, is going to be running on the Mei. And, you know, Mei, super important. And we can already see Pekka Pants is setting up to put up an isolating ice wall here. And it is going to be going up as they get into a little bit of a scuffle. But they're going to break that one down pretty quick.
Yeah, it was only Tomjo that was caught on the end of that wall, so it was a big reaction there from Mark III to be able to back out, and John Pon gets the kill on Dobbin immediately. Both lamps used from both Baptiste on both sides, and Tarakton gets frozen, almost charged by Yuno, but gets the high ground advantage instead. Mark III still trying to slowly push in, but John Pon loses his life to the hands of Dawes. And you see, Mark III, they're still trying to push in. The freeze once again comes out into Tarakton, and Pekka Pants is trying to stall this point out as much as possible. Mark III still trying to push forward. And Tarakton pushing up. Tomjo able to get the kill into Pekka Pants. There goes the big DPS carry we're talking about. And he gets a second one onto Yuno. It's been a cleanup here from the side of Mark III. And they look like they're able to take the first point very convincingly here, Marks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the amplification matrix at the end there just kind of sealed the nail in the coffin. But I just want to say that was an interesting strategy coming out from John Pond, going for the flanking Cassidy. You don't see that too often, but that stun grenade is so instrumental for the front line. So being able to take out Dobbin early into the fight allowed Mark III a little bit more room. But great stuff coming out of Mechanize still. And ultimates are coming online now, Bowsy. So it's going to be a bit of a press queue battle as these teams get into it.
Oh, big wall coming out from Pekka Pants, but an even bigger one on the other side. A big shatter from Tarakton ends up getting canceled here from Yuno's shatter, and Yuno's able to get the kill on the Tarakton. And now Mark III, they are able to get the cart moving 21 meters, but unfortunately they're going to have to retreat as Mechanize have been able to take control of his cart immediately. A quick reaction from Mechanize, and now they have this arch control, which is massive.
Yeah, you saw Teraction just be like, woohoo, I got a nice shatter off. Wait, why am I on the ground now? As he kind of panicked, as great reflexes there. Just put Teraction down onto the ground, as well as a couple of others, which just allowed things to just work out for Mechanize. But now both of these teams have all 5 ultimates online besides their Earth Shatters. So, you know what? Hey, get ready to taste the rainbow, because I think there's going to be a lot of colors on our screen soon.
Take a shot for every ult you see used in this fight. The first one comes out here from John Pond, the Deadeye on that Cassidy, trying to separate the rest of the enemy team, and he's able to eliminate Dawes' mech. That's the second ult coming out. The Blizzard is massive coming out from Bunny as well as from Pegapants. It's back and forth, but Tarakton able to get the charge kill, and the bomb comes out, able to eliminate Yuno, and just like that, Mark III, they only use 3 of their ults, and they're going to be winning this fight. All they need to do is this stagger here from Lekka, and they're going to be winning that. We are going to be seeing a pause come out here, as Pegapan says, apparently some net issues. Yep, and he's gone.
Yeah, listen, I'm from Canada. Okay, we just saw 2 blizzards there. I was feeling right at home. It's getting nice and cold outside. We're going to be seeing some snow shortly. But honestly, a great blizzard coming out from Bunny. So many of Mechanize's team just got frozen up. Whereas, sure, the reflexive blizzard came out from Pegapants in order to freeze some more people up. But ultimately, not too many of their team members were ready to go, which just allowed kind of John Pond to just plink in a little bit of damage. And as soon as their team members were unfrozen, of course, it was absolute chaos. But it didn't matter, because then Mark III could start marching forwards. And, well, they won out that team fight here. Still, though, I think that right now Mechanize are doing a really good job of holding it. They did have the arches. They got kind of rolled on that first point, but they did make a name for themselves, especially to right at that arch. But now that they've got the arch control, they've got maybe 2 more touches left in them. One, if it drags out really long and they aren't really on the cart. But I do expect to see at least 2 more touches here. But I don't know what other way to say this, Valzy, but it is so close between these 2 teams. It almost feels like a mirror matchup right now. Like if they were each computers and they were just going up against each other, like putting 2 level 9 computers against each other in Super Smash Brothers and playing the same characters.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like a very close match. Everyone's starting to really combating each other, but Pegapants is now hopefully back in the room. We're still waiting for the rest of the team to be ready, but we hopefully are going to be unpausing here soon, and we did get the R from both teams. It looks like we are going to be getting back in here, but it really has been a close engage, and with those ults being used, now that there's only 2 ults on each side here for both teams, Mechanize will have that Deadeye in that window, while on the side of Mark III, they have both support ults. So what is the move coming into this next fight for both of these teams?
I think it's going to be interesting. I imagine to see Mark III engage with their amplification matrix. Obviously, that just allows you to move things forwards quite a bit. If Teraction throws through his Fire Strike, things could be good. But I'm going to be honest, the Deadeye, sure, it can be really cool if you get a flanking Deadeye, but I think it's a lot more useful to screen people out specifically in front of the window. Obviously, if you pop that Deadeye and people are hanging up behind the window, that's going to force Teraction to hold up the shield, while the rest of the members have to be a little bit more careful. And that could allow an opening for Yuno and Dawes to just kind of move in for the kill. So, regardless, though, they have a window of their own, so, we could just be seeing 2 flat screens thrown down in front of each other. But, it's going to be interesting. The Potato Lord, too, has that sound barrier, which is just going to allow for a lot more sustain. I think this next fight definitely favors Mark III.
Flat screens. I usually call them garage doors, but whatever floats your boat. As Mark III, they're trying to come in here. Mechanize meets them right there, and 2 great walls coming out from both teams, being able to separate the rest of the team. Guess what? Dobbins in the backline, however, a massive E from Tomjo, being able to cancel out that dive. A shatter from Tarakton, able to get out the Diva of Dawes, and eliminates the mech there for the side of Mechanize. They're not going to be able to have that Diva mech coming in here, and Mark III able to roll the floor with that pick. Pegapants is going to be able to stall it out here on this Diva just for a little bit, and Leica also in the backline trying to stall it out for Mechanize, but unfortunately, Mechanize is going to be losing this fight, and they did use both of the ults that they had in the reserve.
I'm going to be honest, I think the Potato Lord popped the sound barrier a little bit too quickly. The team wasn't really set up to engage there, but honestly, that was Mechanize just kind of separating from their Reinhardt, which just allowed them to roll over it. Obviously, we saw a lot of duels going on, but Yuna was ultimately left alone, and now here's the High Noon.
Yep, the Deadeye coming out here from John Pond. A big wall coming out from Pegapants to be able to deny all the effects of that High Noon. And now you do see that they're trying to push in here. Mark III waiting for the engage here for Mechanize here on the corner. Dawes makes the first engage, and Mark III is just backing up to the cart, And the wall from Pegapants is massive. The stun also coming out from John Pon, able to slow down Mechanize a bit. The shatter comes out from Yuno, able to eliminate, or able to get Tomjo on the floor, but Yuno dies for it in the end to the hands of Kebcake. Still winnable here for Mark 3, but Tarakton dies. That's both main tanks down on both sides, and now the Baptistes are popping off in this fight. 3 kills combined for both Baptiste, and that's a 4th kill. 3 kills so far for Kebcake on this Baptiste. He is destroying the enemy team right now, and Mark 3 are going to continue pushing forward despite not having their Reinhardt, and they're all close to finishing here on King's Row.
Yeah, Kebcake more like Kebquake with those reactions right there, getting all the heads. That's what you want to see out of your Baptiste, but here comes the Blizzard.
The Blizzard's coming out from both sides, not able to be eaten. Bunny able to get the kill on the Yuno, and that's a double Deadeye coming out from Dobbin. The bomb from Dawes, unable to get anything, but John Pon able to get the kill on the Lekka in the other side. It's back and forth all around, but that window coming out from Nacho might mean the retreat here from Mark 3, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Tarakton and Bunny will be retreating here, and Mark 3 will have to wait for another push to be able to get this card to the end. 2 minutes and 40 seconds for them, though. They have a lot of time in the bank.
Absolutely. They are not feeling too scared. We see Pegapants now swapping over to the Junkrat. I actually really like this for this last point because, you know, you could set up some of those traps, which are so deadly for this Brawl composition here, but we are going to be seeing these teams engage off of the self-destruct.
The self-destruct comes out, and Bunny, unfortunately, left in the dust. Dawes gets the bomb kill onto him, and it looks like you're going to be seeing Mark 3 once again try to retreat here, and Tomjo just dodged off the map. I mean, that's a quick way to reset when you think about it, but Mark 3, unfortunately, going to have to reset here, and they're going to have to wait for another push here. Definitely, you were talking about this Junkrat. It's definitely going to make a lot of impact, I feel, as well, because it's just more damage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you can see right now, they're just like, well, pull out the archer. Let's get those headshots because that's good. That's one way to deal with the rat tactics. And that's exactly what they're going to need. I'm excited to see what John Pon brings to the table on this Hanzo pick here, but a lot of ultimates online right now for Mark 3 to engage with.
Absolutely. Tarakton, however, gets trapped here. The lamp having to be invested early from Kebcake. The shatter from Yuno is a miss, unfortunately. Another window here from Kebcake, trying to push any sort of pressure into it. Dawes loses their mech. That is massive. And Bunny able to get the headshot kill onto Pegapants. It is a massive pick here. Bunny able to use the Blizzard as well. The Deadeye able to get John Pon, but might not be enough here for Mechanize as there are only 3 people alive. Both supports and Dobbin on the McCree. While Mark 3 has all 6 up, clean and crystal here. Tarakton able to use the shatter, able to eliminate Dobbin in the aftermath, but you see Mark 3, they're trying to get rid of all these stragglers here from the side of Mechanize, and Mechanize, they just want to bring this cart as long as possible, make sure that they are able to stall it out to the max. As only 1 minute remains here for Mark 3, they gotta finish this point quickly, and Dobbin has a massive pick on the Tarakton. It's still winnable here for Mechanize. The ball from Yuno, unfortunately, will get hit by the self-destructed. Mark 3 trying to complete the push here. The tire from Pegapants unable to get out. It was so close as Tomjo able to clean up the fight left and right on this Diva, destroying the enemy team. The beat once again canceled from Lekka. That should not happen twice in a series, ladies and gentlemen. And just like that, Mechanize will not be able to get the full hold. Only 28 seconds remaining. They might, actually, no, they might. As long as the stall comes out, I jinxed myself. 25 seconds of the clock here for Mark 3, and they'll be able to finish point 3 and finish the map.
You know, you could talk about, obviously, it's at the end. It's overtime. You just got to stall things out for a long time. And I think ultimately Mechanize were able to stall almost an entire minute, which is honestly really good. You can tell, obviously, the stall heroes, you know, Dobbin on the Soldier 76, just running in there and just tossing down the heals, just allowing, you know, to try and respawn on that Wrecking Ball to just roll around and bowl people over. We do have a quick pause here, but that's okay. And you know what? They couldn't have asked for anything more. Obviously, it would have been nice for them to be able to stall that down all the way to overtime, but at the same time, we got to be a little bit realistic there, and there was a huge time bank coming in for Mark 3, so honestly, that was perfect. If Pegapants was able to get the Riptire off, I would have thought it would have been a winnable situation. But I think that was just a great job of Mark 3 being ready for it and being able to take that tire out before it flew in there. You know, it was just kind of chaos on the point at the very end there. Obviously, a lot of instrumental picks, a lot of ultimates being popped in order to turn things into their favor. But right now, I think there's a very clear distinction in these two teams' playing style on very similar compositions. And I think the difference is Mark 3 like playing as a singular unit where Mechanize are not afraid to just kind of go for the pure skill diff on more individualized bases. What I mean by that is you see it constantly where Okay, Pekka Pants and are generally sticking together, but Dawes, Dobbin, they're all over the place. Dawes, obviously, on the off tank, the diva, has to go back in order to peel and things like that. But Dobbin's just kind of all over the place, and, especially too on the Cassidy, getting a lot of value off of it. More than happy to just kind of go in leading the charge, swing the hammer around, get a lot of value, and be kind of scary, all things considered. But that has caused a couple of instances where is far away from the team, and Mark III are more than happy to just stick together and run that person over, even if it means that they lose one player in their composition. If it's just a DPS, that's okay, because they take out the main tank, which is honestly kind of the queen piece of this chess team, if you will, of the Rush composition. And so I think that right now we're going to be seeing the difference on what is going to come out on top. Is Mark III teamwork and coordination going to trump the individual skill and kind of creativity that is coming out of Mechanize? Because right now it's looking still pretty even across the board, but I'm thinking Mark III are going to come out on top of this one.
Yeah, it is very close. Both of these teams have shown a lot of power in certain specific ways, and it's really gone back and forth between all of them. We've seen how back and forth it's gone. We've seen fights where the main tank for one team can die, but they are still able to win the fight. Yeah. So really, it's all over the place, and I would not be surprised if this went to a map 5. We still are waiting a little bit here for things to get back to normal. We did have a pause, of course, in between the rounds. Mark III obviously trying to sort something out, so we're just trying to stall for time here. Eventually, we might end up throwing it to a break so we can try to get it all sorted and make sure everything is fine and dandy.
Yeah, and also too, while we're just chatting, we've got a little bit of time to just chat here. I do think that swapping Bunny in was the right call, not the Mick Rice call, because Mick Rice is no longer here. But they're just off to the side, because I think Bunny, honestly, unbelievable May plays. Pekka Pants has been doing a good job, but I think that Bunny has just been doing the next level of May plays. When we talk about the isolating wall, Pekka Pants has been doing a really good job of being able to isolate 2 or 3 targets, right? But then Bunny comes in, and just when Mechanize think that they can just rush in, the ice wall comes up, and suddenly it's the Reinhardt all alone. Suddenly it's just a Diva or a Reinhardt just hanging out in front. And because it's the second ice wall into the engagement, that just means that Mark III have a little bit more time to just capitalize on it. It's almost like a little bit of a bait and switch right here. And I think that the excellent blizzards have been coming in as well from Bunny. So you know what? Bunny might be a little bit of a May specialist, but right now it's been really paying off for Mark III.
Yeah, and speaking of Mark III and paying off for them, they have finally gotten themselves back together. Apparently, John Pond had to go run to get something, because obviously he was the one that they were waiting on. So we'll have to see what they're going to be running here. But Mark III now on the defense, of course, 25 seconds on the clock for them as they capped all 3 points, and now Mechanize will be getting the push here. We have 17 seconds to think about what Mechanize could be running. Do we see the mirror composition, or do we see that Junkrat again from Pekka Pants?
Honestly, I'm starting to think that Pekka Pants might just hop out on the Junkrat early. In my opinion, I think you would rather swap out the Cassidy than the May in this composition, just because the Cassidy is really good at, honestly, just preventing flankers. I think that's usually why you bring them to a brawl comp, because that way, if someone comes up from behind, maybe it's a tracer, easy. Pop the flashbang, pop a headshot, taken care of, nice and easy, put a bow on it, you can have a nice day. But the isolation May walls coming in, especially for the brawl, are just so instrumental to get maximum value out of your team, specifically coming from the Diva and the Reinhardt, who really like to play up in your face and kind of be the people who are scaring you right in your face. But we're seeing a completely different composition coming out of this, of this offense. Obviously, the time hasn't completely ticked down here, but it is possible that Mechanize are going to be running what they were running on Anubis, and it looks like we're being treated to a little bit of a dive.
I've been starting out on this Widowmaker, obviously just trying to get an early pick, but we do see the dive coming out from Mechanize, as you said, and that's pretty interesting. We did say that they'd like to run the dive up against this Brawl style and make it work, but on King's Row, it's going to be very risky. As you see, Mechanize just slowly trying to make the approach here as Mark III set themselves up here on this point. That's a good anti, however, from Noctua onto the Reinhardt and the D.Va here for Mark III, but fortunately not going to be able to act upon as just slowly trying to push in. That's a massive wall, however, from Bunny and able to eliminate as a result. Dawes loses their mech in the process, and unfortunately, that's going to be a clean reset here from the side of Mechanize, and Mark III will be able to hold for a little bit longer.
Yeah, you can tell they really want Pegapants to turn it up once again on this Echo, but I think right now it's the positional advantage coming out from Mark III. We said how they like playing together, and they are rotating around so cleanly, and then are able to just find picks based off of Bunny's wall. We can see now Mechanize, they're going back to the rush composition, but now they're going to be a little bit behind, but different DPS comp. Dobbin on this Hanzo, good for the shield break. Let's see how it works out for them.
Pretty much the only thing they changed was their tanks and their support, so a good move here from Mechanize to know that, hey, the dive isn't going to work here. Let's run the Brawl back. And they're trying to rotate into this hotel room, but it's only 3 people in there right now. The rest of the 3 moving in late, and that's a big wall from Bunny to be able to isolate them. Tries to get the charge, but ends up getting stunned by Taraktin, and very quickly, very easily, Mark III clean it up. John Pond uses the Deadeye for good measure, and 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock here. Mechanize need to try and figure out something, but it's gonna be even longer with Dawes getting staggered out.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that really holds up in COVID protocols, because it was just almost 10 people in a very small room, all nice and close together, punching each other in the face. Marks were able to come out on top of that just because they had a little bit more support, and I really want to highlight Cupcake there, because Cupcake's been doing a great job of tossing out those immortality fields and pumping in heals for the team. But Ultimate's online, let's see it go.
Dragon comes out, separates all Mark III and puts them onto the point, but the Blizzard from Bunny is massive. Goes right to the back line, but guess what? Peg is back on the Reinhardt, and he loses the duplicate before he's able to get the shatter off. That is massive play coming out from Mark III, and they've already eliminated 2 thus far. Mechanize, unfortunately, going to have to reset here, and that wall almost staggers him out. Oh, never mind. Taraktin uses the shatter, able to get Dawes on the ground, and that, unfortunately, will be the only casualty for them. They could have staggered it out a lot longer, but that's going to be it for them. 1 minute and 20 seconds here for Mechanize, and they only have 1 ult in the bank. They got to come up with answers quick.
Mark III definitely smiling across their faces right now. Taraction went for that shatter, and I think that was just for good measure here. But you know what? It's looking good right now for Mark III. They haven't really budged an inch here, and they're forcing out swaps. Now Pegapant's back on the main.
The bomb comes down from Dawes. That's the only ult that Mechanize have, and it's unable to get any value thus far. But Pegapant's able to eliminate John Pond in the backline. The bomb, however, from Tom Joe gets 2 in the backline of Mechanize. Nobody saw that coming out of nowhere. Tom Joe turns the fight in the favor of Mark III, and only 40 seconds left for Mechanize here, and they don't even have a first tick yet.
Yeah, New Year's definitely came a little bit early there from Tom Joe, just blowing people up, scaring everybody's dogs with that massive explosion, which ultimately won out the fight. Now, Ultimate's coming back online, but that's a huge shatter to start.
3-man shatter coming out from and is able to eliminate Bunny first thanks to the help of Lekka. The immortality field already used from Kebcake, and the Deadeye from John Pond able to get Dobbin, so it's even here from both sides. The window also used from Kebcake. Mechanize need to try and push a little bit farther here. Lekka does the job, however, able to eliminate John Pond and McCree, and also able to get the Potato Lord. Massive support play coming out from Lekka, and Mechanize slowly but surely making their way forward. Taraktin and Tom Joe stuck in this small little room as Mechanize slowly tick themselves up. Taraktin will die to the hands of Dobbin, and all that's left is Tom Joe, Bunny, and Kebcake here. The Blizzard invested by Bunny this late in the fight. Yuno gets the shatter here and is able to eliminate Kebcake. It's back and forth all around. Bunny able to get the kill into Yuno, but unfortunately, that kill is not going to turn the fight in the favor as Mechanize will get the first point here, and Mark III have to try and defend for point B.
I really have to say, hats off to Mark III. I love that aggression coming in from them. They definitely thought it was winnable, obviously investing quite a few ultimates in there. John Pond even swapped over to the Tracer to just be a little faster, and it's going to be devastating if they lose Taraction, and they do, so that's going to give Mechanize quite a bit more space here, but wow, that was something else. I don't know if I agree with Mark III really trying to push it, but they were able to get them to overtime, so that's a really good sign, especially for that point number 1. But you know what? It's point number 2. Should be pretty straightforward for Mechanize to be able to push this one forward. Hey, John Pond's on Hanzo now, and that worked out before, so let's see how it goes this time around.
Jump on the Hanzo this time again to do a little bit more damage here into the side of Mechanize, as Mechanize now making their way to the bar. Another amazing wall coming out from Pegapants, and Domin gets a 2K Deadeye. Oh man, Mechanize, they're able to use these abilities from the DPS flawlessly thus far on this attack, and they're going to be able to cap point B here unless there's a last minute stall coming out from Mark 3, and it's looking cleaner for Mechanize. They have a chance.
Absolutely, they have a chance. You can tell there was a little bit of coordination there. Pegapants was like, I'm going to take out this Reinhardt, so pop your high noon right now. And then, well, you just lined him up and shot him down like clay pigeons right there. But point number 2 is capped. It's all down to this. They're trying to beat that 25-second time bank. Can Mechanize do it? Let's find out.
Another good wall coming out from Pegapants, but the block is there from Bunny on the main. The shatters are massive on both sides, and Dawes gets 2 with the Diva Bomb. A massive play from Mechanize, able to coordinate it perfectly, and Mechanize cleaning up the fight once again. Tom Joe once again will die and have to get have to try and stall it out here on the baby Diva, but Mechanize looking clean on this payload push thus far. They have 2 minutes in the bank and not a lot of distance to go in order to get to that 3rd point.
Yeah, Dawes, I guess, looked at what Tom Joe did and said, I can do that better. And, well, it was more instrumental this time, that's for sure. Time is ticking down, but hey, Mark 3, they've got so many ultimates. I would expect the Blizzard to be their engagement tool here. As we can see, the ice walls are already up.
Bunny drops very low, but able to survive thanks to amazing support play, and the Dragon Strike comes out here from John Pond. Lekka dies early at the hands of Teracted, and now Mark 3, they start to make the advance. They start to be able to push this forward again, and Mechanize, quick fight loss here. That's exactly what they needed. 1 minute and 28 seconds for them, and they don't have a long way to push, and they have some ults in the bank to be able to do it.
Yeah, right now my eyes are going to be on Bunny. Let's see if Bunny can hop their way around and toss that Blizzard into a spot and not have it eaten by the Diva. Right now, burning down that defense matrix should be top priority for both of these teams, because if they lose that Blizzard, that's kind of a team fight lost right there and then. So, Divas, they're going to be the high target as the high noon gets popped.
Dobbin uses the high noon, gets a massive pick onto the Potato Lord. The Blizzard comes out from Bunny, and Dobbin is able to get the kill onto him as well. But the bomb from Tom Joe, a second 2K bomb this map for Tom Joe on the Diva. It's still winnable here for Mark 3, and what do you know? Well, just like that, Mechanize are already resetting, and now they only have 40 seconds to try and finish this map, and Mark 3 looking really clean thus far.
Sorry, are Tom Joe and Dawes doing a little bit of a relay race right now? Because it seems like every time they've popped their ults, it's been 2Ks across the board. And that's usually, it's a zoning ultimate that you see from the Diva. But it's working out really well for both of these teams right now. John Pond, though, does have the Dragon online. Pegapants has swapped over to the Hanzo as well, so they are going to have Dobbin on the Mei this time. So let's see how things go.
Dragon Strike comes out from John Pond, unable to get anything, and the bomb from Dawes is able to eliminate him after the Dragon Strike was used. Yuno, however, dies at the hands of Bunny, and now Dobbin gets the kill onto him as well. It's back and forth thus far, but Mark 3, with that sound barrier, able to stabilize a little bit, but Teracted, frozen and burned to the ground by Noctua on that Baptiste. And Mark 3, now they're in stall mode. They need to try and make sure this cart doesn't get to the end to go to overtime rounds. Kebcake, however, gets the kill onto Pegapants. It's winnable here for Mark 3. They have a chance, as now the Doomfist from Bunny able to come out, and John Pond on the Tracer, able to eliminate Noctua, and they don't touch the cart! Mark 3 step on the cart in a critical moment, and Mechanize bring it to the end and bring us to overtime rounds.
Oh my. You hate to see that happen, but you know what? It happens to the best of us there. Mark 3 definitely thought it was winnable, and honestly, I think they could have won that out if they stuck around for just a little bit longer. But regardless, they were able to force Mechanize to go to OT. So, they are looking a little bit better here going into the swap sides again. 1 minute versus 1 minute 25 on the clock. But who knows at this point? It's so hard to predict what's going to happen here, Bowsy, because both of these teams, they start out on this traditional rush comp, but immediately swap things around, bringing out a Hanzo, bringing out a Junkrat, and so it's kind of like a mystery heroes coming on in that off DPS role, besides the Mei, of course. But hey, Dobbin this time is going to be sporting the Mei look. So I'm curious how well Dobbin is going to be able to do and play this hero, because Pegapants was doing a great job on Mei that last round. So they're going to be going up against Bunny still on this Mei. Let's see if that difference is going to carry this one home.
We saw this at the end of Mechanize's attack there when they were camping point 3. They switched Dobbin onto the Mei and put Pegapants on the Hanzo. So obviously, Dobbin does not play Hanzo, so they're switching him over to the Mei so that they're able to run the Hanzo Mei composition. Mark III, they're sticking with this Cassidy Mei composition as they only have a minute to defend here to make sure that this is at least drawable at the worst here on King's Row. An early wall coming out from Bunny, however, able to separate the teams as Yuno tries to get the charge, unable to, but every team still looking healthy until Yuno dies in the hands of Bunny. A big pick coming out from Mark III, and Mechanize, unfortunately, they're going to have to retreat quickly, and Dawes, the quick solution for a Baby D.Va, just run into the enemy team and hope to God you're getting killed quick. Mechanize, only 30 seconds of the clock, and they need to attack now.
Yeah, they've got their teammates back online, so they're going to be running into this, but it's all on the board right now. No ultimates online for either of them, but Pegapants is getting close. Oh, Amplification Matrix up and down.
MK uses the Amplification Matrix early as you see that Mark III, they're trying to wait for Mechanize to come in, but Mechanize come in behind them. The Dragon Strike from Pegapants straight through the middle, and it eliminates John Pawn. That's a massive pickup already. One of the big DPS picks on the side of Mark III, not there. The Amplification Matrix comes out from Noctua, and it's a massive shadow coming out from Terractin, but he gets frozen by Dobbin's Blizzard. Massive plays coming out from Mechanize on all sides. They're trying to take this point. They're trying to make sure that this will not end in a loss for them. They're going to be able to clean up the fight here. Mark III do save some of their ults, but Mechanize will hopefully be able to cap this first point and will try to push this cart, but they cannot take a pinky toe off of that cart.
Pants supremacy is what we just saw there. You can tell that Mark III were not expecting Pegapants to be in the back line just because the rest of the team was on there. And so that just got so much value out of the Dragon. Not only did it take John Pawn out of the fight, but it also forced out the Immortality field onto Tomjo. But the Blizzard is going to go down really early to try and take Yuno down.
Yep, and Yuno dies immediately. The only casualty in that Blizzard, but still dies nonetheless. The Amplification Matrix comes out and unable to get anything with that bomb from Dawes. You see Mark III, they're trying to push forward, trying to make sure that this does not get any more progress. John Pawn able to kill Noctua, and the Dragon from Pegapants does not get anything. Only 19 meters taken here from Mechanize, and Mark III now have a goal in sight to bring us a match point.
Oh boy, you know, I was trying to not say the word draw just because I was worried that it was going to happen because, you know, to see a draw when that comes online. But now this is definitely winnable for both of these teams. There's a very clear win condition there. Obviously, at the end of that fight, both of the teams were just kind of pressing Q, trying to run things forwards. But like I said before, Mark III, they play a much more coordinated game, and I think that's why they were able to run away with it. We saw the heroics of Pegapants there, which was why they were able to capture that first point. But, you know, it's going to be a tough push here. We see it's going to be a Bastion coming out from Pegapants, potentially, which I don't necessarily disagree with. Nope, don't worry. We've got the Cassidy back online. But once again, I think that I don't know if I would pick the Cassidy right now. I think Pegapants has just been doing such a phenomenal job on the Hanzo, finding those picks so early on that there's a lot of value there. But regardless, they're going to be playing Classic Rush here. That's a very strange yellow box, just off the point number one there. But once again, that's that clear win condition for both of these teams. It's definitely still winnable for either Mark III or Mechanize, but as these gates get open, it looks like we might be treated to a Pharah Mercy combo coming in from Mark III.
Yeah, the point has a little bow on top of it. That's what I like to see when I see that golden box of victory. But you do see Mark III coming out with this Pharmacy comp. This is what Mechanize tried to run on their first attack pretty much, except instead of a Pharah Tracer, they ran an Echo Hanzo. So we'll see if it gets any success here from Mark III, as you already see Dawes putting a lot of pressure onto John Pawn, is able to eliminate him, but not for the cost of his own mech. But still, Mechanize are able to bring this fight into their hands, despite the res going on to John Pawn. They're going to be able to win this fight, and only less than a minute here for the side of Mark III. They need to try and come up with a different plan. Do they stick on this plan, or do they switch it up?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to swap out your DPS right now. That one didn't work, and honestly, I think this is because of Lekka being on that Lucio. They have so much mobility coming in here, whereas Mark III just feels slow in comparison of it. And so they're able to get a lot of value there, and as long as John Pawn is checked, then they just kind of get run over. This is going to be potentially their last attempt to try and contest this, and it's gonna be down to the wire.
The charge gets onto Terractin, but Noctua dies in the backline, and John Pawn's Pharah finally coming into the light. 3 kills for him, 4 kills for him. This single single fight. Mark 3 bring it back. That's a 5th kill from John Pond. 5 of the 6 kills went to the hands of the Mark 3 Farah, trying to get the 6 on the Dawes. But Dawes taking a little nap, just waiting for the rest of the team to engage. And it looks like you're going to be seeing Mark 3 being able to take this. Why would you boop him onto the point? But regardless, Mark 3 will be able to take this point. Now it's 19 meters to push forward. This is a time for Mechanize. They need to push forward now, or this is going to be a very bad loss for them.
Yeah, and John Pond has the barrage online and is looking for an opportunity to do so. They're going to have to do this without their diva. There goes the shatter.
The shatter comes out, the barrage from John Pond, able to get the kill on the Dobbin. Pegapant's able to get the kill on the Tarakton, however. It's back and forth on both sides, but Mark 3, they're still on the cart, and John Pond's still alive. Able to get 2 with that Farah as the res comes out here on the Tarakton. Dawes on the ball, trying to do any sort of power he can, but Funo dies right in front of him, and unfortunately, Mechanize doing everything in their power to try and make sure this cart does not hit that golden box of victory, but it's not going to be successful. Mark 3 will win on King's Row and bring us to match point against Mechanize.
Wow. Obviously, you know, I talked about how it would have been possible for Mechanize to win that, but they didn't check John Pond, and honestly, that's why John Pond's going to be getting this play of the game. I'm expecting it's going to be right at the end here. Yep, this is exactly what we're seeing. Just so much value coming in from this far. They completely left him unchecked. You know, Mechanize were able to run over Mark 3 because they took John Pond out of the fight first. But as soon as John Pond gets value, then John Pond is just going to do John Pond things, and that involves a lot of explosions right by your head, and you're going to generally have a bad time if you're against that. So great showing from Mark 3. Once again, they feel very comfortable on this rush composition and are able to catch Mechanize a little bit off guard. Obviously, they were comfortable playing just their traditional rush composition, but we saw a little bit more variety coming out from the squad, and I think that it shows really good signs because Mark 3 is a little bit more flexible, and they're still playing very coordinated as a team despite changing up some of their hero lineups. So excellent stuff coming out from Mark 3. I don't want to discount Mechanize though, because, well, honestly, with a minute on the clock, I don't think that they should have even capped point number 1, but they were able to do that, and that was just based on Pegapants playing the Hanzo. What a talented player. I can't believe the plays that have kind of come out of Pegapants in this matchup so far, and I'm excited to see more because right now the series is 2-1. So if Mark 3 win this next map, they will close up the series. They will send Mechanize home, but Mechanize, they're not out of things yet. These games are really close, and you know they want it. They want to be winning things out. So I'm ready for the new energy. I'm ready for it, Bowsy.
It's definitely, the energy is spiking right now. It's been an amazing match, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Of course, map 4 will be an escort map, and we are waiting for Mechanize's map pick, as they were the loser of the match. They were the loser of that last map. They choose the next map. That's how it's been going throughout this entire series. They actually just got their map choice in right now. They're going to Dorado, which is very interesting to me because Dorado speaks for a lot of dive, and yes, Mechanize have been running a lot of dive. I think that's probably why they chose it, but Mark 3 have shown that they are compatible on this dive as well.
Yeah, that is true, but what comes to mind in almost let's say a horror flashback, if I was Mark 3, is going to be Pegapants on the Echo. The dive allows this Echo to be played, and, well, we just see how much value Pegapants gets. I mean, the setup is perfect coming out for Mechanize. You have Yuno and Dawes just fly in there, obviously playing the Winston Diva, and just take them down to about half HP. Pegapants throws in the sticky bombs, and then can just go in there with the focusing beam and get like 2 or 3 kills right there and then. It's a tale as old as time if you are Mechanized, and I wouldn't be very surprised if we didn't see Pegapants play the Echo on this dive composition.
Yeah, I would not be surprised as well as we're heading in here to Dorado. Mechanize on the defense. They need to try to get a stellar defense and a really good push here in order to try and bring it to a map 5 scenario against Mark 3. Reminder, Mark 3 went undefeated in stage number 1, and now they are trying to bring themselves back through the losers bracket after losing 4 games in a row, but Mechanize trying to stop them in their tracks. The comps are coming out right now, and what were you saying about Pegapants' Echo?
That was about to do the work of God. It feels a little bit appropriate for Dorado here, but once again, Pegapants really just turning it up, and Dobbin on the Tracer is also a very solid pick. We've seen Dobbin do really good on the Ashe previously, but I think the Tracer is also going to be getting a lot of value in how they want to play this. I would like to mention we are going to be seeing Mick Rice come back in for Bunny, and that's because maybe we aren't going to be seeing as much May. As John Pon, another excellent player in their own right in the skies. John Pon on this Pharah has been immaculate, and it's going to be up to Mechanize to make sure that John Pon gets checked, and it might be up to Pegapants to do so.
And now the attack comes out. Mark III coming out on this hybrid brawl composition that we saw them run before with the Pharah Tracer, the Ana Mercy, and the Rhine Diva. And Pegapants already trying to get to work here on this Echo with the Mercy Pocket of his own. As you do see, Mark III, they're pushing the cart a little bit, getting into the first corner, but Daw's there to stop it for a little bit. And really, it's just been a slow engage thus far. That's the point of this composition coming out from Mechanize, and then they hit the first nail with the hammer. Pegapants able to get the kill into John Pon, and Dobbin gets the kill on a Ked Kick as well. Oh, and Tom Joe gets demeched inside the spawn room, and now Mark III, with 3 people here on this right side, it's going to be a rough trip home for them, as they're going to be losing this fight and going back to the spawn room, trying to reevaluate what to do.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear the comms right now coming in from Mechanize, because as soon as John Pon fell down, it was probably just a pedal to the metal, let's go, 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 because they immediately just swarmed like ants over the rest of the team. You could just tell how much value and honestly how much respect they're giving John Pon on this Pharah here. But I do think that Dawes needs to help out a little bit. D.Va, an excellent anti-Pharah tool in combination with Pegapants, so I'd like to see a little bit more there, but right now they're doing a great job of holding this defense.
And you do see John Pon trying to go for a very weird flank here as Pegapants tries to make the engage onto him and try to eliminate that Pharah early. The D.Va's also having a little bit of a brawl, and Dobbin gets the pick off onto Taract, and that is a massive pulse bomb stick. Dobbin dies for it, however, and Tom Joe gets 2 thus far. Both people actually killed both of the teammates, and you do see the fights going back and forth. But McBryce, massive pulse bomb onto Pegapants, and Leica's res gets canceled out by John Pon. That's going to be the instigator that Mark III needed, and just like that, John Pon already pushing in, getting the kill on the Noctua, and that's going to be the reset here from Mechanize. Mark III will be able to push this past the first choke.
All right, so Tom Joe, and John Pon kind of clutched that one up for the team. It created those openings, and it just absolutely smacked as a result of it. And we can already see it happening again. John Pon finding Dobbin. That's going to just make sure that Mechanize have to back off, but it looks like they want to engage.
Yeah, Pegapants actually gets the duplicate onto the D.Va, but the Nano Boost comes out on the John Pon. He's able to eliminate Noctua first. The bomb comes out here from Dawes, unable to get anything, and the barrage from John Pon eliminates Dawes and himself. That's a 2K with that barrage, but regardless of which, you do see that Mechanize, they are slowly but surely bringing this fight back with so many stagger picks coming in. They just have a little bit of advantage with this composition, and just like that, Mechanize will be able to hold here right outside of point 1, and 1 minute and 10 seconds here for Mark III to try and get it to the end of point A.
Okay, I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but is there a hero that Pegapants can't play? That was an excellent check by playing D.Va there, ate up most of the barrage, and then just kind of threw the mech in front of John Pon so that John Pon would blow himself up. You know, that's a great way to deal with a Pharah that is barraging there, and even lived to tell the tale because it was the duplicate form here. Now, the clock is ticking down, but they do have a couple of ultimates online. Tom Joe, obviously been doing great stuff here, and does have to self-destruct, might engage with it.
You know when it actually gets a little bit pressured out here from the side of Mark III, tries to go in beat, but gets a Nano Boost, but a Shatter from Taract, and gets 3 on the ground, able to eliminate Dobbin on the Tracer. It's still winnable here for Mechanize, however, they have a lot of help here with the Valkyrie coming out from Leica. The bomb from Tom Joe, able to eliminate Noctua here on the Ana, but Pegapants gets the return kill onto the Potato Lord. Back and forth again here. It's really just been the entire story of this entire match, back and forth, but now John Pon on the Pharah gets the barrage, kills Leica with Dawes in the aftermath, and as you can see, Mark III, they're starting to push forward. Taractin with the charge on the Dobbin after he came out of the recall. Ouch, that was painful. And now Mark III, they're going to be able to take point A here, and Mechanize now need to try to hold for a little bit longer.
Yeah, Dobbin was definitely like, you can't touch me over, oh my god, and then just immediately got sandwiched into the wall, and probably had a bad time about that one, but regardless, excellent showing right now from Mark III. They're keeping this one still alive. They have the momentum now, but once again, they need to check Pegapants. They've kind of been letting Pegapants run free, and as a result, they've been suffering for it. But meanwhile, John Pon, you know, same thing for Mechanize. They have to check John Pon, because they're not doing that.
Yep, a Primal Rage use here from Yuno as Lekka gets the res onto Noctua, but you do see Mechanize, they're starting to push a little bit forward. They do have an advantage. McRice died in the middle of that fight, and the duplicate again coming out from Pegapants onto the Diva. Already straight goes for John Pond on that Pharaoh, trying to eliminate him, but Yuno dies to the hands of McRice, and the duplicate ends up getting lost here from Pegapants. Really back and forth, but through it all, Mark III's stability is going to give them the edge in this fight, and Mechanize will have to retreat here, and Mark III looking pretty strong thus far.
Yeah, absolutely. John Pond barely escaping this. Oh boy, a little bit scary there, but you know, I don't think I agree with Pegapants using the duplicate there, but it takes John Pond. Okay, just took John Pond out of that ult. You hate to see it.
Yep, the bomb was stuck on the pole, and John Pond tried to use the barrage as an instigator, but ended up losing his life for it. And now with the rest of the cleanup there from Dawes and Pegapants, Mechanize get a hold here. 1 minute on the clock for them, but they don't have a lot in the bank, Marks.
No, and to be fair though, Pegapants has been doing a really good job of building up that ultimate really quickly. Now we're seeing John Pond swap onto the legs, the Soldier 76, to get a little bit more hit scan in and really check Pegapants, most likely. But that's going to mean that they lose that Pharah, so I'm curious to see how this will work out for them.
Soldier isn't really a common pick as well, so it'll be interesting to see. The pulse bomb from Domin able to get the Potato Lord, and Tom Joe loses his mech as well, and Mark III having to start off on a really weak foot with this Soldier swap, but regardless of which, they still don't have a lot of time left. They got to try to regroup and get themselves together quickly, but that kill on a John Pond is rough, and if McRice dies late here, it's going to be even rougher here for Mark III.
Yeah, they really checked their starch by taking that Potato Lord out of the fight immediately, and that just kind of stopped Mark III right there and then. Now, this is going to be the last engagement, but look, Pegapants already has that duplicate basically online, and Noctua has a nano boost as well. I imagine this is going to be devastating for Mark III.
It almost was devastating as they almost didn't touch the card. I was worried about that. The Shatter coming out from Tarakton, able to get two, however, eliminates Dobbin as the nano boost comes out onto Yuno. It's still winnable here for Mechanize, however, they have two picks, and guess what? Pepega got the duplicate and gets two with the bomb. Massive play coming out from Pegapants again in this series. Absolute force of nature coming out here. Tom Joe, unfortunately, won't be able to survive as the bomb comes out from Dawes, and that is where Mechanize is going to be able to hold off Mark III. 73 meters gain for Mark III. That's Mechanize's goal to try and bring this to a map 5.
And Pegapants is reminding me of a good old Fall Out Boy song where they just consistently said light them up, number of times, because those self-destructs on Diva have just been immaculate. And obviously those sticky bombs too are not to be underestimated. I kind of talked about the strategy before, but they're consistently lighting up the kill feed with 2Ks before the fight, or just right off the bat. And they got to do something about Pegapants. They really have to do something about Pegapants, because if they don't, then what you just saw there is going to happen again. And this is really favoring that Echo pick right now. You can see that Mechanize want to play around Pegapants just with how much damage is coming out of there. And I don't think that John Pond switching onto the Soldier was the right call. I think I preferred John Pond to continue playing the Pharah, but it might be up to McRice to play something a little bit more different and work with Tom Joe to kind of slow down that Echo, because, well, that Echo is just steamrolling over Mark III right now, Bowsy.
So we'll see what happens here with Mark III as they're coming out here on the defense. We did get information about this map, but we'll tell that when the map ends, if it does, in the next 5 minutes. But we'll see what happens as now Mark III, they're coming out with this Pharah Tracer once again on the defense. Meanwhile, Mechanize, they're running this shadow dive again. They're running the 6-man dive with the Echo, and you do see Yuno immediately jumping in, missing the charge from Tarakton, and Pegapants. Once again, Pegapants doing Pegapants things, trying to do as much damage as possible, but unable to get any picks thus far, and the cart moving very slowly here from Mechanize. Oh my goodness! Noctua gets a huge sleep onto McRice. Absolutely massive coming out for the support player here from Mechanize, and now Mechanize, that is the kill. That is once again the nail in the coffin. They start cleaning up the rest of the fight with that first pick, and Mechanize are going to be able to push this fight very cleanly.
Yeah, and then, Dobbin was just so good. Look at that. Dobbin just going into the back line and taking people out. And, well, this is just going to be it for point number 1 from Mark III. As you can see, Mechanize, they're just so far forwards right now. It's still finding value here. But once again, they just look clean. And now Teraction on the Hog. I don't imagine this is a permanent switch. Yep, okay, onto the Monkey. Looks like we're going to get a little bit of counter dive here.
Yep, but Mechanize, they will be able to cap this first point, which is very rough for Mark III, because now, look at that time bank. 5 minutes in the clock for Mechanize to try and make 73 meters of progress. And already trying to make the dive in, trying to get a lot of damage here, and uses the Primal Rage early. And guess what? There's another Monkey on the field for the side of Mechanize. And guess who it is? No surprise, it's Pegapants on the Monkey, trying to get that Primal Rage up, and he will be able to. Now he's got an Ana and a Tracer in a small room, and Ana in a small room with a Monkey is pretty much an all-you-can-eat buffet for Wario, and Pegapants able to get the kill into the Potato Lord. And once again, Mechanize, they're pushing really far up. They want to end this map here and now, and Mark III, they have to find some solutions now.
Yeah, it's looking like a scene out of Planet of the Apes right there, and we know why the apes ultimately won. And no, it wasn't because of a virus, it was because monkeys are scary when they're punching you in a very small room. There's so much room right now. A lot of ultimates online, though, for Mark III. They're going to start with the Valk to engage.
The Nano comes out onto John Pond here, but he gets melted by Pegapants. The Barrage won't be able to be used here thanks to the amazing play. Kemcake able to get the res, however. It's massive here coming out from the Mercy on Mark III, but Mark III still need answers as the bomb comes out from Dawes, and it gets rid of McRice, and John Pond dies again. Mechanize, they're trying to bring it to a map 5. All they need to do is clean up these stragglers, and it looks like they're just going to be able to do that. Mark III are going to have to fight for a map 5 against Mechanize as they win Dorado.
Oh my goodness me, Bowsy. I was just about to comment that was such an expensive fight for Mark III, and they're going to have trouble in the next fight, because I thought it was over. But I underestimated them because of this man right here, and this man is Pegapants. We're going to be seeing this self-destruct play right now. I didn't even realize that they brought out a Sombra towards the end there, but, just 2 bombs up in the air, not much you can do there, and, well, I think that it's so clear that Pegapants just an absolute stellar play. Once again, it's hard to stop Pegapants if you're not bringing dedicated heroes to check him. And Mark III, they're just not doing that. We see it's not uncommon for some teams to just be like, oh, there's a fair up there. We're just going to roll over the rest of their team and then deal with that afterwards because it doesn't matter because we can get cart progress or whatever. But the fact of the matter is they're trying to pull that with Pegapants, and it's not working because the duplicate is so impactful. And Pegapants has been getting them left and right. I cannot stop commenting on how good he is. Once again, also really good on the pit as well. Is there a hero he cannot play? I'd be curious. I want him on the support line at this point.
I mean, I would be surprised if he really could not play. No, if he really could play every hero, because he is listed on this roster as a flex player. So, definitely showing that flexibility with the Echo here. But now it is a map 5 situation here between Mechanize and Mark III. Now, I did mention that we would say what would happen, but unfortunately, we didn't have to see that scenario because Mark III ended up losing Dorado, but we will be seeing Mark III choose the choose the 5th map in this series. And what do they go with for a control map to beat out Mechanize's style right now? Because Mechanize has really been outdoing them on a lot of styles, except maybe the Brawl.
I have to think that the Brawl is going to be the one that you would want to favor here if you're Mark III. Mark III, once again, just looking a lot more comfortable on the Brawl than Mechanize does. It looks... When they go into the Brawls, they come out looking like the UFC champions, whereas Mechanize look like they just have a bunch of purple eyes. So I would imagine that they're going to continue to just kind of use this Brawl style, and it's going to be interesting for them to see. We are going to be seeing another swap coming in for Mark III. We're going to be seeing Bunny back in for McRice. And hey, on King's Row, it worked out phenomenally for Mark III. So, let's see how this goes. Control maps are funky, though, because you can play... Because there are 3 points, some points favor other compositions more so than others, and you can't guarantee the Brawl in every single fight. I think if you're Mark III right now, you have to kind of force Mechanize to play the Brawl, and that's going to be a very difficult task, especially on a control map. But they have locked it in. We are going to be going to Busan for map number 5. The winner will move on, while the loser is going to be kicked out of this tournament.
I'm concerned about this pick because we talked about how Brawl was a strong point of Mark III, and they go to a map I'm pretty sure the map pool, from what I remember, is Ilios, Lijiang, and Busan, if I'm correct. Yes, I am correct on that. So this is an interesting map pick. There is a brawl point on this map, but I would argue Ilios was the better pick. But we'll see if Mark III have a certain solution for this map. Obviously, there is a brawl map. We'll see if they're just going to try to force it out, go to that brawl map, and then come up with some wacky stuff on the third map to try and win here. Or Mechanize could be closing out here, but from what we're seeing from the compositions, I think it's clear we know what Mechanize is going to be running here.
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing, once again, Vegapants on the Echo. This time, Dobbin is going to be playing the Ashe. And, well, we saw Dobbin play Ashe before, and honestly, it was great. Let's forget about the Bob running into the corner, missing the point. But, you know, hey, to be fair, Mark III did that too. There's a lot of long sight lines here, so Dobbin should be able to get a lot of value here. Meanwhile, I don't know that Mark III are really bringing anything to keep Vegapants in check. So I'm curious to see how they're going to be dealing with this Echo.
They do have the Cassidy of Bunny, so that's definitely one thing they can do to try to keep that Echo in check. But right now they're staying on that left drum, trying to come up with any sort of way to be able to push in, and on the Monkey is the first person to meet them at the door. Ding dong, how's it going? The flash comes out from Bunny, is almost able to eliminate the Monkey there, and now, slowly but surely, Mark III make their way to the point. This brawl comp is starting to work a little bit, as has to get rezzed up and ends up dying, and ends up losing 2 players in the aftermath. Mark III, they're winning the fight here, and Mechanize are unfortunately going to have to go back to the drawing board and figure out what's up here. We might see Mark III with a big solution here.
Yeah, and I think that solution right now is John Pond playing the Reaper, just kind of teleporting into the back line. And, well, you know, how the dive comp works, you get everybody to run onto a single target, but that leaves you very exposed in the back. And so John Pond on the Reaper with those shotguns is going to be terrifying if you are Noctua or, honestly, Dobbin. So they're going to have to figure out a way to check that, but here's the Ant Matrix.
Ant Matrix comes out from Cake as Mark III, they're waiting for Mechanize to come into that left room, but Mechanize say, there's a window in that left room. We're just going to go through the door as they head to the main point, and is the first to touch on that Monkey. Really, the rest of Mechanize are playing a little bit staggered, but that's the main point of his dive. Makes the dive with that nano boost, and Mechanize slowly but surely trying to cap the point. The Deadeye from Bunny, however, able to eliminate Pegapants. That is massive coming out from the side of Mark III, and that's another fight win here for Mark III, and all they had to use was the Deadeye in the window, and they're already halfway to another window.
Yeah, I mean, Cupcake has just been getting so much value on this Baptiste. Not only doing a great job of keeping everybody alive, but also pumping in damage. Keeping Pegapants in check. That might be their solution here. Just have Bunny and Cupcake focus the flying Pegapants. Maybe that's how you win this out. And so far, it's working out for them. But now, got that duplicate online as well as that Diva Bomb. Let's see how this goes.
Pegapants does have the duplicate. Mark III start to push in very quickly. The bomb from Dawes is a miss throw, and Terractin gets 2 with that shatter. A massive play coming out for the right arm for Mark III, but now it's evened up. 2 on each side. Pegapants on the Baptiste gets the window out and is able to eliminate 2. It's still winnable for Mechanize, but Lekka dies in the aftermath. Now there's no supports on the field as now the window comes out from Kebke. The bomb from Tomjo trying to separate everybody, but Mechanize are still winning the fight. All that's left is this mech of Tomjo, but Pegapants dies in the hands of Bunny. If that was the pick-off Mark III needed, then they might be able to win this. Bob comes back into the fight here with Dobbin, and now Dawes able to get the kill on the Bunny in the baby diva form. Ooh. This is absolutely outrageous. Mechanize trying to bring this back. The beat comes out from the Potato Lord, however. Mark III still have a chance in this. They're battling back as quickly as possible. And Dawes are there, however, putting a lot of pressure onto Terractin. So much pressure that the Immortality Field has to be used. Now Terractin dies in the hands of and Dobbin is there to clean up the rest. And Mark III, unfortunately, will not be able to get a 9-9-0. We will be seeing Mechanize take a cap here in this point.
Yeah, okay, Pegapants definitely heard the cast and was like, okay, fine, I will play a support. And then just turned it up on the Baptiste, found a couple of kills, no big deal. While also being able to keep everybody around him nice and healthy. But you know what? Amazing stuff, Pegapants, but that's kind of been the name of the game so far. Now, I'm going to be looking at John Pond and Bunny. They do have that Death Blossom. John Pond might be in a good position to use it. And here comes the Death Blossom. Nothing.
Blossom comes out and it goes right for Noctua in the backline. Pegapants also gets nano boosted right before she fell, however. But John Pond's already got 2, and Bunny eliminates Pegapants as well. Mark III making a dominance thus far, and now that's another kill in their favor. Bunny has been destroying the enemy team here on this McCree. That's 4 kills from that fight. Mark III with that amazing McCree play. They're going to be taking Blizzard Sanctuary and going to map point and match point.
Yeah, usually you think Cowboys are the ones who are shooting the bunnies, but right now Bunny as the Cowboy is just shooting up Mechanize because that was clean. It was an easy 3K coming in on the Cassidy, just whipping out the pistol and then just finding all of those heads. That's exactly what you want to see out of a Cassidy player there. So let's see how this goes. I mean, hey, they've been doing a pretty good job of making sure they're keeping Pegapants in check here, and they do have that first point on the board, so they could take things home right here, but Mechanize are not out of it yet. They want to push this all the way to the end. They can't afford to lose here. They can't afford to lose their spot in this tournament.
I apologize if I said the redacted name earlier. I meant to say Cassidy. It's hard to adjust to a caster right now.
You're talking fast. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm the play-by-play. I have an excuse, but now we do see the teams now coming out on mirror shadow dive compositions again. Remember the last time we saw this? Mechanize were able to take it to the hands of Mark III, and we'll see if it's the same here as Dobbin gets the kill onto John Pond. Reaper meets Reaper, and the superior Reaper wins, and now it's a quick engage here from Mechanize, pushing in with Dobbin on this Reaper, getting every final kill until Noctua ruins it, but regardless of that, you are going to be seeing Mechanize take this point very quickly with that kill, with that push in, and yep, Mechanize will get the first cap here.
Yeah, you know, we talked about John Pond doing crazy Reaper things, but right now, Dobbin, what an absolute stop show that Dobbin is on Reaper. Just not afraid to just teleport behind, just getting so much damage onto the main tank here. And it is going to force out a swap coming in from Mark III. Look, they're back on this Reinhardt. They want to play a little bit of a more traditional rush, favoring that over the Winston. But, you know, I don't know how this is going to work out for them.
You do see Mark III, they're going the long way. They're going onto the left, but guess who's meeting them? Lika on the Lucio, tries to get the boop up, but is unable to get anything. So Mark III still able to stabilize here as they're trying to push in. Yuno is there right in the front line, and John Pond gets hacked while he's in the back line. The Primal Rage from Yuna, able to knock off Tarakton on the Reinhardt. A massive play there coming out for the main tank for Mechanize, and Mechanize looking clean in this fight thus far. They've already gotten 2 more kills on top of that kill on the Tarakton, and you will be seeing them win this fight. Yuno almost gets hit by the train, though. That was a little bit of a hard surge there.
Yeah, talk about the train to Busan right now, but regardless, I think that right now, it's been excellent hacks coming in from Pegapants. They've been able to shut down the Potato Lord, which is really reducing the mobility for Mark III, and especially swapping onto that Reinhardt. They need mobility. They need to be able to do those fast engages. And so even though it seems like, you know, there's so many better targets to hack, hacking the Potato Lord has been winning out these team fights. Now we have dueling EMPs online for both of these teams. I'd be curious to see who's going to pop theirs first.
The first one comes out from Pegapants, able to get 3, but the other one comes out from Mark III, and it's 5 down on the field here. The only one not caught in that, I believe, was Pegapants, but you do see Mark III just trying to push forward now as John Pond and Bunny able to get 2 each. Now you do see that now Mark III, they're pushing in very slowly. The Coalescent Use from Kebcake able to bring them in, and now Bunny on that Sombra making work done here for the side of Mark III. All you're going to be seeing is Pegapants stall it out here a little bit on that Sombra, try to build out that EMP back, but Mark III will get their first cap here with Mechanize are at 99%. Mark III cannot lose a fight.
No, they definitely can't. Buddy coming in with the EMP and just turning all of the electronics off for Mechanize, and then it was just an easy team fight for them. They do have all of their ultimates online. John Pond might get into a great position to use that Death Blossom, but just in case, they do have the Potato Lord with the Sound Barrier, ready to be defensive or honestly offensive if they decide to be aggressive, but I wouldn't expect that coming out of Mark III. They're a lot more defensive-sided, and you can see the rotation coming around, so they're going to be going back and engaging.
He comes out from Leica aggressively, as you were saying, but Tarakton gets a 4-man shatter on the ground. The bomb comes out from Tom Joe to clean up the fight, and Mark III might have been a little bit of an overinvestment, but regardless, they win that fight, and Dawes gonna get staggered a little bit, jumping off onto the train tracks. Don't do that at home, kids.
No, you're going to have a bad time. I can almost guarantee that one. But, you know, Tom Joe definitely threw out the self-destruct. I don't think it was necessary, but it's a good way to just absolutely make sure you will win that team fight. They still have John Pond with this Death Blossom, and once again, if it's in a great position, it could be devastating here. You just have to watch that Diva's defense matrix. That's going to be the #1 problem right now.
Pegapants trying to build the EMP in the back line, but you do see that the rest of the team's pushing in. Tom Joe gets hacked. That's massive. Dobbin able to use the Death Blossom now and is able to get the Potato Lord in the aftermath. Now John Pond uses his. Able to get knocked slow, but it's a 3-man EMP coming out from Pegapants. Back and forth on both sides. Mark III trying to hold themselves while Mechanize push themselves forward. The bomb comes out from Dawes and it gets 2 because Tarakton died in the hands of Dobbin. Mechanize bringing us back as now it's the Potato Lord trying to stall it out. But John Pond going to be returning here on the Tracer as well, trying to make sure that the team is able to bring it back from the brink of defeat. But he does have his EMP. It is winnable here for Mark 3 if they're able to keep themselves alive. But the Potato Lord dies in the hands of Dawes. It is back and forth, back in ways, but Tomjo gets the kill on the Wecca. It's a 4-man EMP from Bunny. It's still winnable for Mark 3. Oh, they're trying to put all the focus on the Yuno, but he ends up surviving, able to get the kill on the Terractin before he ends up falling to the hands of fate. As now, Mark 3, they're unfortunately going to have to sacrifice this point. Mechanize will bring us to a 3rd point in a 5-map series.
Wow, we are going, as they say, all the way tonight, Bowsy. We're going all the way to point number 3 on map number 3. I mean, I guess if you don't count the draws, that could happen. This is as far as Overwatch can go. Just at the end there, we saw the EMP coming out from Bunny, but I think it was a little bit too preemptive. Obviously, it's a little bit of a panic situation. The overtime clock is burning down, but I would have liked to see a little bit more value come out there. The team wasn't there to capitalize on the EMP, and it was pretty easy for Mechanize to just kind of restabilize themselves, hide for a second on the point, and then just kind of re-engage once their abilities came back online. Now, it looks like we're going to be having dueling brawl compositions, the difference Pegapants on the Junkrat versus Bunny on the Sombra. Let's see how this goes. Pegapants, a stellar Junkrat.
More damage versus more potential for engages here on both sides as we're going to see what the teams are able to use. John Pond is going to TP into the back of Mechanize, trying to get any sort of flank damage, but now that means that Mark 3 won't have all 6 ready. Despite that, Mechanize are not pushing forward, but Noctua gets the kill on a John Pond. The flank was a failure. Mark 3 now have 1 down, and they're already trying to stabilize themselves. They use the Immortality Field really early. Mechanize trying to bring it back. Pegapants dies in the hands of Bunny, and Lekka able to get the kill on the Terractin. It's back and forth. Mark 3 will get the cap, but for how long? As Mechanize, they're in the advantage right now. They're going to be able to take this point quickly from Mark 3. It's going to be close, however. Bunny's going to be able to saw it out, and John Pond gets the kill into Yuno. If John Pond had that Death Blossom right now, it would be an easy win, but unfortunately he does not. But still, Mark 3 are stalling this, and they're able to try and bring it back.
You gotta be kidding me.
From Terractin gets 2. It cancels the remake from Dawes, and Mark 3 somehow,
You've gotta be kidding me.
in the name of anything Overwatch, are bringing this back from the brink of defeat. I can't believe it, Marks.
Yeah, okay, they held on to the point. I think it was only 1% left there. I was going to highlight how Lekka's been doing a great job on this Lucio, also pumping in damage, but you know what? If you're Mechanized and you can't cap the point, that's so bad. And now you can just see that, what do you call it? Mark 3, they're more than comfortable to move this thing forward. There's the window and the Rip Tire.
Tire comes out from Pegapants, trying to push into Mechanize here, and he's able to get 2. Massive tire coming out from Pegapants, able to eliminate Kev and John Chon, and now Mechanize making their way onto the point, eliminating the rest of Mark 3. And Mark 3, as you do in a lost fight, they're not going to use any ults, but Mark 3 will have to sacrifice the point here, and Mechanize will get it. 61% of here for Mark 3. That should not be as high as it is, but Mechanize still will be able to count up.
Yeah, now Mark 3, they've got that EMP online, which makes me really scared because they're playing into a Brawl composition, and you know what Brawl does? They hang out together, which means EMP maximum value, which is going to allow the rest of the team to move in here. So I'd be keeping an eye on to Bunny to see whereabouts they are going to be going. Here comes the EMP!
4-man EMP, the beat comes out, however, but Noctua dies in the aftermath. John Pond with that Blossom, able to eliminate the Baptiste, and now you see Mark 3 slowly making the engage. Dominhauer's in the back line, gets 2 with the Death Blossom of his own, gets a 3rd on the Terractin. Mark 3, they overextended a little bit and didn't notice that there was a Reaper with 2 giant shotguns and an absolute massive ult in their backline. Mechanize stabilize and win that fight despite looking lost, and now 44% for them.
Yeah, Domin definitely was dabbing after that one because that was just clean into the back line, got so much value, and turned the team fight in favor of Mechanize. Now they've got their own ultimate starting to build up. They are going to be able to contest this, and we see Bunny swap over to the Cassidy.
The Shatter comes out from Yuno, unable to get really anything massive, but is able to get the charge onto Terractin and eliminate him. No Diva Bomb kills on either side, as now it's pretty much even here from both sides. John Pond, however, on the Reaper, not being dealt with, trying to get as much damage as possible, trying to eliminate anyone he can, but Mechanize trying to stabilize. Tomjo gets the kill on the Dawes, and now Mark 3, they're going to be able to win this fight here. Mechanize will have to reset, try to save their ults here, and looks like with 79% in the bank right now, Mechanize will have to reset. Mark 3 will get the cap, though.
All right, Bowsy, what are the odds we go to 99-99 overtime? Because right now, this is so back and forth. Both of these teams doing an excellent job. We see Dobbin swapping over to the Cowboy as well now. So I'm curious to see how they're going to get value out of that one. I think I still would have preferred to see the May, but right now they got to stop this Reaper. It's devastating for them.
They go to the right side, and Pegapants gets the massive pickoff onto the Potato Lord. Yuno trying to swing forward onto Tarakton, but the Shatter from Tarakton gets 4 on the ground, and the cleanup is there. Mechanize trying to bring it back, and brings the beat Pegapants with the trap, and the tire is able to get 3. It's winnable here. Mechanize will get the clip here. 98% for Mechanize, and now Mechanize. 98% for Mark 3, and now Mechanize 1 fight win away from knocking out Mark 3. Mark 3 need 1 clean fight to bring it back.
Megavance's back must be absolutely massive after deadlifting so many fights, and that's just another example of how good this guy is. And here comes the early Shatter.
The Shatter is a miss here from Yuno, but still, Mark 3 trying to push forward. The bomb comes out from Tom Joe, and Bunny gets the kill on the Dobbin. The mech lost from Dawes. It's still winnable here for Mechanize, but the Blossom comes out from John Pond and eliminates Noctua. Mechanize trying to stabilize. It's a 3v3 situation right now on the point. The beat is late. Pegapants tries to make sure it doesn't get out, but is unable to get the kill. John Pond able to kill him in the aftermath. Now Dawes using the bomb of his own, trying to make sure that Mark 3 can't touch that point. They almost C9, but the kill on the Chem Cake, it's still winnable for Mechanize. They're doing everything in their possibility to try and bring this back away from the team. The Deadeye from Jumbo is not going to be able to get anything. A massive E from Tom Joe, and through it all, Mark 3 trying to battle it back through the brink of defeat several times, and Mechanize, unfortunately, will not get the job done. Mark 3 will short-circuit these robots and will go on to face the SEAL Team Spuds.
Oh my goodness me, what a close game. Both of these teams pushed to their absolute maximum. We're going to be seeing Teraction get the play of the game here as Reinhardt, but oh my goodness, Bowsy. Oh, what a huge shatter. So many clean shatters coming in from both sides of this match, honestly. This was some phenomenal Overwatch we watched tonight, and it was absolute chaos, but it just went back and forth left and right. I want to say big congratulations to Mark 3, but at the same time, congratulations to Mechanize because they pushed them all the way to the brink of defeat. They almost had them there. You know, not quite the 99%, but it was 99 to 98% for the longest time, and I think that speaks volumes. So once again, congratulations to Mark 3. Excellent Overwatch. They play so well together as a team, and it's sad to see Mechanize have to go home because they had some excellent talent in their roster.
Absolutely. Mechanize put on an amazing show against Mark 3, who, remind you, went 5-0 in stage number 1. Mechanize showing that their 2-3 record in stage 1 was just because of a difficulty difference, but an amazing show all around. Mark 3 get the victory. They will face SEAL Team Spuds next week for a spot in the championship bracket. But now, Marks, as I usually do in my matches, we need to crown some players of the matches. Who is your player of the match from this series? I know it's a hard pick. We saw plays from everybody on the field, but who do you think did the best job?
I mean, right now, I gotta be honest. I want to say either Tom Joe or John Pond. I lean towards John Pond just because there was a little bit more value there, but I don't want to take Tom Joe down from anything because an excellent off-tank role. But no matter which way you look at it, John Pond on that Pharah just got so much value out of the play where essentially they made Mechanize have to adapt in order to take particularly the Pharah out. That's how much of a high impact player John Pond was for Mark 3.
Absolutely. I'm going to go for your other pick. I'm going to say Tom Joe is my player of the match. You can't argue with a diva that gets that much value so many times. You don't see divas like that get final blows so much, get so many high impact kills, get so many diva bombs out. Tom Joe did amazing in this match, and really all of Mark 3 did amazing in this match, but I think Tom Joe is your player of the match here for Mark 3. Again, an amazing showing coming out from Mark 3, and speaking of Tom Joe, he'll be making an appearance on the program that happens right after this match, right after this stream is concluded. Stay tuned because we're going to be hosting you The Beat Drop with Captain Jack. Tom Joe will be on the show alongside NRFT, Colorform, and I believe... there's one other person I'm forgetting, but I remember. This is why I don't do these casts. This is why I don't do this. But I believe it is Garrett. Garrett from Reckless Sigma. Thank you. Garrett from Reckless Sigma, I remembered. Thank you, Brain, for helping me. But they will be on tonight for the Beat Drop with Captain Jack. Make sure you stay tuned for that. It has been an amazing night, Marks, and I had a very good pleasure casting with you.
Oh, I had an amazing time alongside you as well. We saw some excellent Overwatch tonight, and I think that this is just moving forwards. This is just only going to get more exciting as we get into the actual championship bracket. Bowsy, it has honestly been a pleasure tonight.
Absolutely. And for everyone here in the Overwatch Tranquility community, he's been Marks. We've had Cavalier on the production doing an amazing job. It was a hectic match, but he's still putting on an amazing producer show for all of you. And with that being said, I'm Bowsy, and we hope you have an amazing night. Enjoy the Beat Drop, everybody.
Bye.